right, Shalom. Shalom. First off, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash. Yahweh being the true name for Heavenly Father. Yahushai being named for His only begotten Son, who the world ignorantly calls God, and Jesus Christ. I want to give double honors to our apostles, double honors to our elders, a great millstone, who taught us His truth and will well. Insight takes us to do hopeful that in His truth and honesty and sincerity. This is Brother Yawasop. Come to listen to the Spirit Power, Yahweh and Yahushai. Just doing a quick in transit lesson, kind of impromptu to the Spirit. And one of the things that I want to speak on that's been spiritually on my mind this week is vengeance is mine, thus saith the Lord, I will repay, roughly paraphrasing. Okay, we have to remember that we don't fight our own battles on this side when dealing with entities and things that are out of our league to handle. Okay, sometimes we get so caught up, you know, in so many defenses, and we put too much effort in trying to, you know, take matters into our own hands. And if you force it, you know, if you force it too much, you can adversely affect the outcome because you didn't trust in the Lord that He'd take care of it, man. You know? And the Lord will show you and remind you of this if you forget. You know, He's going to make a certain situation happen, you know, in your life. And you're going to find yourself being really frustrated or really upset on what's going on or what's happening. So you gotta remember that when you're faced with that type of adversity, and it's just something that's overly, you know, getting you frustrated, you have to keep, you know, feels like you're forcing it. You're doing too much. You're doing too much, okay? Because if it's meant for you, it's meant for you. It's not, it's not. You know, you gotta learn when to let go and put it in Yahushai's hands, and then watch Him work. We have a lot of enemies in this thing, to the upwards of millions or billions. And anybody that's not a believer in Yahushai and His truth, they are your enemy. It's a spirit, man, because I just drove past a vehicle and the license plate on it literally says life. So in this life that we're walking, you know, you have to trust that Yahushai has your back, is going to take care of it. We're living in this life right now. There's too many battles that need to be fought. It's impossible for you to handle them all, man. So pick your battles wisely and know when something is too much for you to do yourself. Follow the Spirit. Pray on the situation first, and then, you know, let the Lord reveal to you on how to take action. And you can also seek counsel through the brothers as well. Okay? But above all, don't ever get carnal. Don't let your emotions get over you, man. Because those, you know, controlling and manipulating the emotions to stir up anger or sometimes depression or sadness or guilt. Those are all tools of the devil, man, Shaitan. And each one of those things are used to eventually start tying into having you have doubts about your walk in this truth and your faith. And that's when you have fallouts, man. When people are too carnally minded, you know, they're faced with a situation and they act so damn spoiled. People out here spiritually spoiled, meaning what I mean by that is, if they don't get it their way, it's the end of the world, and somebody needs to pay for that shit, and you get mad. And so they start blaming the ministry. I start blaming somebody that ain't got nothing to do with it, that's actually righteous and good for you. You know? That's how Satan causes division. Like I said, it's playing on those emotions, man. So you got to control your emotions. Especially as a man. As a woman, it can be really hard for y'all to control your emotions. You know, you're created as emotional creatures, but you still should have, you know, to some extent, control over yourselves as well. Even though it's not going to be as good as a man, you know, you should still have enough wisdom that you should learn from the aged women that believe in Yahweh or Yahweh Shai, how to control your damn self, man. Because when you don't, and you want to walk around with this spoiled, entitled mentality, you begin to make lifelong mistakes. Meaning a mistake that you have to pay for the rest of your life. It's one thing to make a mistake. We all make mistakes. But you don't want to be making them type of mistakes. You got to pay for the rest of your life. And a lot of these women, these Israelite women right now, the mistakes you're making, you do mistakes and you make decisions to where you ruin your household and you rip apart your marriage and your family. And that's something you have to deal with for the rest of your life. You got to deal with, you know, now you got to raise another child. You're single mom times 4 now. When if you would have kept the law, statutes, and commandments, kept control of your emotions, and did what the scriptures say of bringing peace to your husband and servitude, that would have never happened. But you guys want things your way. If it isn't your way, it's the highway. And the highway is rough, man. It's the most dangerous thing that we do on our daily lives is drive on a highway. And that's for anybody. Scriptures say to be carnally minded is death, but to be spiritually minded is life and peace. You know, and then once you allow that spirit, that carnality to enter into you, and you don't check that shit, and you keep doing it and allowing it to enter more and more and more, before you know it, you done fell out. You done turned into a scoffer and a scorner. And you're going to get that scoffer and scorner and sinner's reward. It's not worth it, man. You know, we got to control ourselves. You know, there's always going to be spirits that's going to rouse you up. It's going to piss you off. You got to look at things from a spiritual eye standpoint. And a lot of things just fall into place. And they happen for a reason. And sometimes those reasons is to help you. You know, like I gave a testimony earlier this week, how frustrated I was with what was going on in my vehicle situation. You know, still right now, I don't know what could have been dangerous that I might have been facing, you know, at the days where I wanted to use my vehicle. But the Lord knows, man. The Lord knows if I would have got behind the wheel that day, a drunk driver could have came and hit me, man. You know, we don't know all things that's going on. So yeah, it was really upsetting because I came out a lot of money going back and forth to the parts store. You know, keep having to get parts, put one part on, sensor say it's good, then it flags another part. Another issue, and another issue, and another issue. You know? And if I wasn't spiritually minded, I could just get me in an overly stressed, you know, and then make a carnal decision instead of just having patience. I would have fucking tried to go scramble up $1,000 to pay a fucking scamming ass mechanic, man. Over some shit that only took $16 of a tool to buy, and I got the shit fixed my own damn self in 20 minutes. So that's an example of how, you know, you don't want to be carnally minded, and you got to trust in the Spirit for the Lord to fight your own battles, man. Now, some things we got to take matters into our own hands, and we got to stand up as men to handle. But most of the things it's not for us to manage at all. It's just through the Spirit. You know, we're also going to be faced with more diverse temptations and frustrations when dealing with the people of the public. Because the Lord is really marking those that are trying to cause division. He's marking wicked people that have been living their lives evil. And he's marking them for what they've done in their past lives and this life. So some cases, he's just sending them up to, you know, the church for that final stamp of judgment. And so when they come up to the church, though, for you, it's going to be some bullshit. And you're going to be put in a situation where you feel like, oh, you got to beat the hell out of somebody. Now, you can defend yourself, you know, by any means if somebody is doing something to bring you harm, but we got to make sure we're levelly minded, because we're going to be faced with multiple situations like that. And now is not the time to be getting records built up and cases on you when something you could have used some verbal judo to get out of. A simple go up the street or call the cops. And now you don't got to worry about any type of law getting involved. You're not fucked up and you live to prophesy for another day, you know, and you're not stuck with thousands of dollars of fines and charges, all bunch of shit, you know. Now again, if it's for self-defense, somebody done got in your personal space, crossed the line, they put hands on you, they spit on you, you know, throw something at you, well, that's considered assault. You can defend yourself. Still call the cops, but defend yourself. Always be the first one to call the police, okay? Always be the first one to call the police when facing a situation that's going south. Okay? Take that as words of advice. And I'm not saying and that's in your personal lives too. Outside of out there at the highways and hedges, you know, when we're out there teaching. In your personal life, you're dealing with a situation with somebody. A lot of times, it's going to come from a woman. You know? So, be one step ahead. Know when things is getting out of hand. Tell her ass to leave, go, or you leave. And she's still not allowing that to happen and getting too fucking crazy. Just call them, man. You know, we're not in our rest right now. We can't put our women in order like we would in the ancient world, where they weren't allowed to call the centurions. And if they did, the centurions would tell them, get the fuck out of my face. You know, go deal with your husband. We're not in that position no more. So they're going to do things that's completely wrong, completely out of order, because they've been given over to their emotions, which means they've been given over to the spiritual demon Satan and carnality, and they're seeking to cause harm and death and overly contention. You know? So let the Lord fight for you, man. Put in his hands, send prayers up on certain situations. You know, brothers are going through a whole lot, but at the same time, we're into a season where our brothers are in a come up. They're starting to level up, and the stock is going up for the elect spiritually, and now we're starting to see it physically. The stock is going up. You know, we've always spiritually, the stock has been way up, you know, and that continues to rise up. But physically as well, brothers are beginning to be blessed in their lives. And don't be afraid of those blessings. Like Elder Marloya said, you know, good things start happening, you be automatically thinking, damn, what's about to come after this? You know, because that's what we're used to. It seems like we get a good blessing, and then some bullshit come around the corner, and it'd be some devastating bullshit. You know, it'd be Satan. But this time, you know, we in winning season, man. So we don't have to worry as much, you know, but still have the understanding that there's a times and a seasons for everything. You know, there's a good seasons and there's seasons of difficult seasons. Where brothers have been in a stage of difficult seasons for a long time. You know, and because we're at the end, prophecy is being fulfilled, judgment is happening to the 2/3 and the wicked upon the earth. It's time for the righteous, man. They're being made, you know, as fine gold. Brothers are beginning to shine, man. Confidence is going up. The Lord is removing the wicked out of their lives. Hey, and we're at peace, and we're rejoicing at the destruction that we're witnessing. You know? So the spirit of this lesson, is really, like I said, letting Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, fight for you. Understand that you got to send them prayers up. Let him fight your battles, man. Don't try to do too much in your own hands. You can make matters worse. He's already got a plan for what you got going on. He knows your every need and what you need. Scriptures say that. He knows your thoughts. He knows exactly what needs to happen. So all you got to do is just send them prayers up and just wait. And you're going to see quote-unquote coincidental situations happen in place that's going to go in your favor. Because the scriptures say, no weapon formed against thee shall prosper, man. You got to remember that. Don't get so, distracted and in the moment of pain or misery or frustration or anger. It's easy to get distracted and forget, hey, there's no weapon that's going to, win against you. Just got to have patience to let it play out. Just let it play out, man. So Lord's will, this lesson's edifying. I'm going to go ahead and close out and give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahushai, Ba'Shem Kakadash. Double honors to our apostles and elders, a great millstone, and times of truth and rule well. And salutations to you, hopeful that pushing this truth in all sincerity. Shalom.